RE Tribution's dawn. Captain Lena Voss stood at the observation deck of the TSV Nemesis, watching the shimmering barrier of the Helix Nebula fold away as they emerged from their jump. The massive warship, humanity's most advanced vessel, decelerated smoothly, its newly developed stealth systems engaged. 5 years since the Arvani conflict had ended. 5 years since the aliens who had come as friends had nearly annihilated humanity. 5 years wasn't nearly enough time to forget. Transition complete, Captain, reported Navigator Chen from the bridge comm. All systems nominal. We've arrived at the coordinates. Lena's reflection in the reinforced viewport stared back at her. Sharp features, hair regulation short, eyes that hadn't truly softened since the day she'd watched Montreal dissolve into ash. Any sign they detected our arrival? Negative. Quantum wake is dissipating normally. If intelligence was correct, the Arvani outpost should be within the third moon's shadow. Maintain stealth protocols. I'm returning to the bridge. Lena turned away from the viewport, her footsteps echoing in the empty observation deck. The Nemesis carried a crew of just 200, a skeleton complement for a vessel of its size, but each member had been handpicked for this mission. This wasn't exploration. This wasn't peacekeeping. This was retribution. The bridge fell silent as Lena entered. 6 stations, each occupied by officers who'd survived the worst of the war. Commander Elliot Rivera, her XO, stood from the captain's chair. Long-range scans are complete, he reported, gesturing to the main display. The outpost is there, exactly where Dr. Harrison's intelligence suggested. An asteroid hollowed out and converted into a forward base, precisely what they'd been hunting for months. Do we have confirmation on the signature? Lena asked, taking her seat. Dr. Maya Harrison, their science officer and former xenolinguist who'd worked with the Arvani before their betrayal, looked up from her station. The quantum resonance matches the diplomatic vessel that fled Earth space, the ones who coordinated the initial attack. They're here. Lena nodded. The Arvani had appeared in Earth's skies 8 years ago, offering friendship, technology, and cultural exchange. For 3 years they lived among humans, learning Earth's defenses, studying human physiology, installing backdoors in every system they touched. When they struck, they hit 97 major cities simultaneously. 4 billion dead in the first hour. The war that followed pushed humanity to the brink. Only desperate innovation and the discovery of the Arvani's unexpected weakness to certain radiation frequencies had turned the tide. When the aliens finally retreated, Earth's leaders declared victory. But Lena and others knew better. The architects of the betrayal had escaped. And now they had found them. Tactical assessment. Lieutenant Cade. Lena asked. Lieutenant Asim Cade, a former Special Forces operative who'd lost his family in the Sydney attack, gestured to a holographic display of the asteroid base. Minimal external defenses visible, suggesting they're relying on secrecy rather than firepower. 3 entry points, all apparently guarded. Internal scan shows approximately 200 life signs, but something's odd about the readings. Explain, Lena said. The signatures are stratified. Different than what we typically saw during the war. Cade frowned, almost as if they're not all the same species. Dr. Harrison moved to the tactical station, studying the readings. The Arvani we encountered on Earth were all from their emissary caste. There's evidence they have a rigid biological hierarchy. These readings suggest members of their leadership caste, the Primarchs, are present. Lena's eyes narrowed. The very individuals who planned the attack on Earth. Yes, Harrison confirmed. And potentially the only ones who know why they really attacked us. Commander Rivera cleared his throat. Captain, we should consider our approach carefully. If we go in guns blazing, we might lose valuable intelligence. I'm not interested in studying them, Commander, Lena replied, her voice cold. The mission parameters are clear. Complete neutralization of the threat. With respect, Captain, Dr. Harrison interjected, there's still so much we don't understand. The Arvani technology we recovered suggests they were receiving directives from somewhere else. Someone else. The attack on Earth might have been orchestrated by a power we haven't even encountered yet. The bridge fell silent. This wasn't new information, but it remained controversial. The idea that the Arvani, technologically superior as they were, might themselves be pawns in a larger game was disturbing. All the more reason to capture their leadership alive, Harrison added quietly. Before Lena could respond, the tactical station chimed. Captain, Cade reported, we're detecting a vessel departing the asteroid. Small, fast-moving. Looks like a scout ship. Track it, Lena ordered. Weapons. Prepare to disable. Wait, Harrison said, studying her screen. That signature, it's not Arvani. At least, not entirely. The scout ship accelerated rapidly, heading away from both the asteroid and the Nemesis. They've spotted us, Rivera said. Impossible, Chen replied. Our stealth systems, they're not running from us. Harrison interrupted, her voice tense. They're running from something else. Something's coming. As if summoned by her words, space itself seemed to ripple approximately 2,000 kilometers from the asteroid. A massive ship, easily 3 times the size of the Nemesis, materialized, its hull comprised of interlocking geometric shapes that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light. What the hell is that? Lena demanded. Unknown configuration, Cade reported. Not Arvani, not human. Nothing in our databases. The newcomer fired a single beam of pulsing energy at the asteroid base. There was no explosion, no visible destruction. Instead, the entire asteroid seemed to shudder, its surface rippling like disturbed water. Quantum destabilization, Harrison whispered. They're unraveling the atomic structure. Are they allies? Rivera asked. Another species the Arvani betrayed. Harrison shook her head. I don't think so. Look. On the display, smaller vessels were now emerging from the massive ship, heading toward the asteroid. The base was returning fire, but their weapons seemed ineffective against the newcomers. Those smaller ships, Harrison said, they match fragments of Arvani mythology. The overseers, the beings they called the Nexus. Lena watched as the drama unfolded. So the betrayers have their own masters, and it seems there's dissension in the ranks. Captain, Cade interrupted, the scout ship that fled, it's changing course, heading straight for us. They've definitely spotted us now. Lena made her decision. Intercept that scout. Prepare boarding teams. I want whoever's on that ship alive for questioning. She turned to Rivera. And keep us at a safe distance from whatever that thing is. The Nemesis moved with precision, cutting off the scout ship's escape route. The smaller vessel attempted evasive maneuvers but was quickly caught in the warship's tractor beam. They're not resisting, Cade reported, surprised. In fact, they're requesting permission to dock. Harrison looked up from her station. Captain, I'm receiving a transmission from the scout ship. It's in English. Put it through, Lena ordered. A voice, melodic, but clearly non-human, filled the bridge. Human vessel, this is Talon, third voice of the Arvani resistance. We seek asylum. What you witness is the punishment of those who fail to conquer your world. The Nexus does not tolerate failure. Please, we have knowledge vital to your survival. The war with humanity was merely a prelude. The real invasion is about to begin. Lena exchanged glances with her officers, the mission parameters suddenly complicated by this unexpected development. Bring them aboard, she finally ordered. Maximum security protocols. I want to hear what they have to say. As the scout ship was drawn into the Nemesis hangar bay, the massive unknown vessel finished its attack on the asteroid base. The structure was now coming apart at a molecular level, fragments dissolving into space like ash in the wind. The masters punishing their servants, Harrison murmured. Or eliminating witnesses, Lena countered. Let's find out which. The delegation from the scout ship was small, just 3 Arvani. Their blue-scaled skin and 4-armed physiology instantly recognizable to everyone who had lived through the war. But these individuals lacked the ornate biomechanical augmentations that had characterized the Arvani forces during the conflict. They appeared almost diminished. In the Nemesis's secure conference room, the leader, Tellen, faced Captain Voss across the table. Security Chief Marcus Wolf stood ready with a team of armed officers. Dr. Harrison sat beside the captain, monitoring the translator implants they all wore. "You said the real invasion is coming," Lena began without preamble. "Explain." Tillen's large, compound eyes reflected the room's lighting. "What you call Arvani are merely one servant species of the Nexus Collective. We were ordered to subjugate your world, to prepare it for Nexus occupation." "Why us?" Harrison asked. "Your biological adaptability is unique," Tellen replied. "Most species evolve to fit specific ecological niches. Humans adapt their environment instead, making you supremely resilient. The Nexus prizes this characteristic. They integrate useful traits from conquered species." "Integration," Lena repeated coldly. "You mean extermination." "Transformation," Tellen corrected. "The Nexus absorbs. Those who planned your conquest, our Primarch caste, have now been punished for their failure. But the Nexus will not abandon its goal. They will come for Earth with far greater force." "When?" Rivera asked. "They have already begun moving their fleet. 3 of your months, perhaps less." Lena stood, pacing the room's perimeter. "Why should we believe you? Your kind slaughtered billions of humans after years of pretending to be our friends." "Not all Arvani supported the deception," Tellen said quietly. "Some of us believed a true alliance with humanity was possible. Those who spoke against the Primarchs were silenced." The alien pulled back the collar of its robe, revealing a mass of scar tissue where mechanical components had clearly been forcibly removed. "Some of us tried to warn you." Harrison leaned forward. "There were unexplained communications in the weeks before the attack. Fragmented transmissions we couldn't decipher." "That was us," Tellen confirmed. "A resistance movement within the Arvani Collective. Too few, too late." The alien's gaze returned to Lena. "We bring you something more than warnings this time, Captain. We bring you the locations of Nexus outposts across this sector. We bring you the technical specifications of their vessels and weapon systems. And most importantly, we bring you the frequency keys to their neural network." "A way to fight back," Lena said. "A way to survive," Tellen corrected. "And perhaps a way to free all servant species from Nexus control." As the implications settled over the room, the tactical alert sounded. Cade's voice came through the comm. "Captain, the unknown vessel has completed its attack on the asteroid. It's changing course, heading straight for us. We've been noticed." Lena locked eyes with Tellen. "Is that ship Nexus?" "Yes, a Harvester class." The alien's voice trembled slightly. "They will not take prisoners." "Then neither will we," Lena replied, turning to her officers. "Battle stations. All hands prepare for combat." As the crew rushed to their positions, Lena cast one final glance at the Arvani refugees. The hunt for betrayers had brought them face to face with a greater threat, and perhaps unlikely allies. The real war was just beginning. The hunters GMBite. The Nemesis shuddered as another energy pulse from the Nexus harvester grazed its shields. Captain Lena Voss gripped her command chair, eyes fixed on the tactical display where the massive enemy vessel loomed. "Shields at 62%, Lieutenant Cade reported. "Their weapons are unlike anything we've encountered. They're targeting specific shield frequencies and adjusting with each shot." "They're learning," Commander Rivera observed grimly. Lena nodded. "Then let's be unpredictable. Navigator Chen, execute evasion pattern Delta 7. Weapons, prepare to fire the prototype." The bridge crew exchanged tense glances. The prototype was officially designated the Quantum Destabilizer Cannon, reverse-engineered from salvage Arvani technology, and enhanced by Earth's best scientists. It had never been field-tested. There had never been a target worthy of the risk. The Nemesis banked sharply, thrusters firing in seemingly random patterns as it circled the much larger Nexus vessel. The enemy's attacks became increasingly erratic as they struggled to predict the human ship's movements. "Prototype charged and ready," the weapons officer announced. "Target their propulsion system," Lena ordered. "Fire." A beam of brilliant azure energy lanced from the Nemesis, striking the geometric protrusions that served as the Harvester's engines. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the alien metal began to shimmer, its molecular structure visibly destabilizing, as the same technology the Nexus had used on the asteroid was turned against them. "Direct hit," Cade exclaimed. "Their propulsion system is compromised." "They're launching smaller craft," Rivera warned. "Attack drones, dozens of them." Lena leaned forward. "Launch interceptors. Commander Wolf, prepare boarding teams. While they're distracted, we're going to infiltrate that vessel." "Captain," Rivera questioned, clearly surprised by the order. "The Arvani refugees provided key intelligence on Nexus ship design," Lena explained. "There's a central processing node, essentially their command center. If we can access it, we can potentially download their entire tactical database." "And if this is a trap?" Rivera asked, glancing toward where Tellen and the other Arvani waited under guard. "Then we spring it on our terms," Lena replied. "Dr. Harrison will accompany the boarding team to help navigate Nexus systems." Harrison looked up from her station, eyes wide. "Captain, I'm not trained for combat operations." "No, but you're the only one who might understand what we find in there," Lena countered. "I need you on this, Doctor." As Harrison nodded reluctantly, the ship rocked again under enemy fire. "Time to move," Lena said. "Commander Rivera, you have the bridge. Keep them busy." 20 minutes later, Lena found herself inside the alien vessel, leading a team of 12. The boarding party, Harrison and Tellen, who had insisted on accompanying them. The interior of the Nexus ship was disconcertingly organic despite its metallic exterior, with corridors that seemed to pulse with internal energy. "It's partially biological," Tellen explained, noticing their expressions. "The Nexus integrates living components into their technology." They moved swiftly through the labyrinthine passages, following Tellen's directions while avoiding contact with the ship's crew. Strange, multi-limbed entities that seemed more machine than biological. "Those are drones," Tellen whispered as they ducked into a recess to avoid a patrol. "Not fully sentient, but connected to the central intelligence. If they spot us, the entire collective will know immediately." "How much further to the processing node?" Lena asked. "2 more junctions," Tellen replied. "But it will be heavily guarded." "Let me worry about that," Lena said, checking her weapon, a modified pulse rifle designed to disrupt both electronic and neural systems. As they approached the final corridor, Harrison suddenly grabbed Lena's arm. "Captain, the readings I'm getting. This isn't just a ship." "Explain," Lena demanded. "The energy patterns. They're consistent with a neural network, but on a massive scale. It's like the entire vessel is a single vast consciousness." Tellen nodded. "The Harvester is an extension of the Nexus itself, a fragment of their collective mind given physical form. So we're essentially inside a giant brain." Security Chief Wolf asked, his expression a mixture of disgust and fascination. "More like a neuron within their network," Tellen clarified. "But yes, essentially correct." Lena considered this information. Can it be reasoned with? Communicated with? "The Nexus does not reason as you understand it," Tellen replied. "It assimilates or destroys. There is no middle ground." They reached the entrance to the processing node, a massive doorway composed of the same strange, flowing metal as the rest of the ship. No obvious controls were visible. "How do we get in?" Lena asked. Tellen approached the door, placing his 4 hands in specific positions on its surface. The Arvani were trusted servants. Our genetic pattern still opens many Nexus systems. The door rippled and parted, revealing a vast spherical chamber beyond. At its center floated a swirling mass of energy, pulsing with patterns of light that seemed almost hypnotic. Around this core, various consoles and interfaces extended like the spokes of a wheel. "The processing node," Tellen whispered. "The ship's brain." Harrison moved forward cautiously, scanner in hand. "The data storage capacity it's beyond anything I've ever seen. This single node could contain the sum total of human knowledge many times over." "Can you access it?" Lena asked. "I believe so, with Tellen's help." The Arvani refugees provided basic interface protocols. As Harrison and Tellen approached one of the consoles, a voice, or rather, voices speaking in perfect unison, filled the chamber. "We have been expecting you, humans." Lena raised her weapon, scanning for the source of the sound, but it seemed to emanate from the chamber itself. "You are a curious species," the voices continued. "When we dispatched the Arvani to prepare your world, we anticipated compliance, not resistance. You exceeded projections. We tend to do that," Lena replied coldly. "Especially when someone tries to exterminate us." "Extermination was never the objective," the voices responded. "Assimilation. Integration. The Nexus grows through incorporation of worthy species. So we should be flattered." Lena asked sarcastically. "You should understand your position. The failed Arvani conquest was merely preliminary assessment. The full integration fleet approaches Earth now. Resistance, while demonstrated to be impressive, remains futile." Harrison, meanwhile, had connected her device to the console, fingers flying across its surface as she downloaded data. She caught Lena's eye and nodded slightly. The distraction was working. "What if we offered an alternative?" Lena asked, keeping the Nexus consciousness engaged. "Peaceful contact. Exchange of knowledge without conquest." A sound like laughter, but utterly without mirth, echoed through the chamber. "Your species is young, undeveloped. You do not yet comprehend your own potential. We have guided species for millions of years, harvesting their unique attributes to strengthen the collective." "Guided? You mean enslaved," Lena countered. "A limited perspective. The Arvani traitor beside who cannot comprehend the greater purpose, the ultimate unification of all sentient life into a single, perfect intelligence." Tellen stepped forward. "I have seen your perfect intelligence condemn billions for failing to meet arbitrary standards. There is no transcendence in the Nexus, only consumption." The energy core pulsed brighter, angry reds replacing the cooler blues and greens. "Defective unit. You will be reabsorbed and corrected." Tendrils of energy began to extend from the core, reaching toward Tellen. Lena fired her weapon at the nearest tendril, causing it to recoil. "Captain," Harrison called urgently. "I've got it. The full tactical database, fleet positions, weaknesses in their technology, everything." "Time to leave," Lena ordered. "Fall back to the extraction point." As the team began retreating, the chamber's entrance sealed shut. More tendrils emerged from the core, lashing out at the humans. "The Nexus will not permit this theft," the voices declared. "Your knowledge will be added to our own. Your biological distinctiveness will strengthen the collective." Lena turned to Wolf. "Plan B." The security chief nodded grimly, removing a device from his pack, a compact quantum bomb designed specifically for this contingency. "You would destroy yourselves?" the Nexus asked, its multiple voices showing the first hint of uncertainty. "If necessary," Lena confirmed. "But I'd rather we both reconsider our positions. You say you value humanity's adaptability and resilience. Here's a demonstration. We're offering you one chance to withdraw from Earth space permanently. In return, we don't share the weaknesses we've just discovered with every other species you've subjugated." The energy core pulsed erratically. "You cannot comprehend the scale of the collective. You are one vessel. We are thousands. We are billions, Lena countered. Billions of individuals who refused to submit even when our cities burned and our population was decimated. Imagine what we'll do with foreknowledge of your arrival and intimate details of your weaknesses. For several long moments, the chamber was silent save for the thrumming of the energy core. Then, slowly, the sealed doorway reopened. This unit will relay your proposition to the primary collective, the voices finally stated. Withdrawal will be considered. The unexpected variables you present require reassessment. Smart decision, Lena said. Chief Wolf, arm the device. If this ship makes any aggressive move before we're back aboard the Nemesis, detonate it. Understood, Captain, Wolf replied, setting the bomb and activating its deadman switch. As they retreated through the alien corridors, Harrison studied the data they'd captured. Captain, this is extraordinary. It's not just tactical information. It's their entire historical database. Records of hundreds of species they've encountered, technologies we've never imagined, and a list of other species who might be interested in allying against the Nexus, Tellan added. My people are not the only ones who have suffered under their domination. A coalition, Lena mused as they reached the extraction point where their shuttle waited. From hunters to diplomats in the span of a single mission, Command won't know whether to promote me or court-martial me. Back aboard the Nemesis, they watched as the damaged Nexus harvester began slowly retreating, moving away from both the human vessel and the direction of Earth. They're withdrawing, Rivera noted with surprise. You actually convinced them. I gave them something new to consider, Lena replied. The Nexus values efficiency above all else, a costly war against a prepared opponent who knows their weaknesses isn't efficient. Will they honor this detent? Harrison asked. Perhaps, Tellan said. The collective operates on consensus. If enough of their neural network calculates that the cost of conquering Earth outweighs the benefits, they will redirect their efforts elsewhere. And if they don't, Lena added, we now have the means to fight them effectively, and potential allies throughout the galaxy who would jump at the chance to overthrow their masters. As the Nemesis prepared to jump back to Earth space, Lena returned to the observation deck where her mission had begun. What had started as a hunt for vengeance had evolved into something far more complex and perhaps more important. They had set out to find the betrayers and instead discovered a future where humanity might take its place among the stars not just as survivors, but as liberators. The war had indeed been just the start, but the hunt had revealed a path forward that none of them could have anticipated. Captain, Harrison's voice came through the comm. Command is requesting a full briefing on our findings. Lena smiled faintly, watching the stars. Tell them we've got quite a story to share, and a proposition for Earth's next mission into deep space. The hunt was over. The journey was just beginning. Retriclad can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.